This is Mario Krsek for e-clips.tv. This is an unplanned interview. I just came out of Westminster Abbey and stepped into this demonstration where Brits are fighting against Brits, let's say, demonstrate against. Ones are for the Brexit, ones are against, the other ones are against the Brexit. I have here on my right side a sir which is for the Brexit. Would you please present yourself shortly and your main statement?
My name is Johnny. I'm here to support leave means leave. We voted to leave the EU, and that decision was given to us by the British Parliament as British citizens. We have decided to leave the EU, and there should be no second referendum about that. When we joined the EU in 1975, we had a referendum, and nobody asked us to have a second referendum. All the scaremongering about this country was going to go down, I think is an insult to the British people. We can stand on our own. Britain is an independent country. We want to go global. We want to deal with the Commonwealth. We want to deal with the world. We can do trade with Europe. We can stay with the Europeans. They are our neighbors. They are our brothers. They are our colleagues. They are our friends. We can do everything together, but we just want to be an independent country. That is what we have voted for, to leave the EU.
Okay, here on my left side, thank you very much. Here on my left side, I have somebody who is against the Brexit, as least as it is at the moment. And would you please present yourself?
Yes, my name is Jane Riekeman. I'm very, very much of the opinion that we should actually remain within the EU because we are actually stronger within the EU. I'm old enough, I'm 63, so I actually remember England before we went into the EU when we were called the sick man of Europe. We had our first international bailout in the early 1970s. We had constant strikes. We did originally join a trading organisation, but even at the time we were told that it would be likely that we would grow together politically as well. And during the time that we've been within the EU, we have actually now become the 5th biggest global economy. That was completely unforeseen in the 60s. And actually, Johnny referred earlier to the fact that the EU can do all these things, they're unelected, they can do all these things without our say. Actually, that's not true. We had vetoes not to become a member of the Eurozone. We had veto to opt out of Schengen. And if we were in the EU, we could easily veto not to be part of an EU army, should we so choose to do that. Within the EU, when we were a member, or as we are a member now, we have rights. We have a chance to vote and to veto. Once we leave, if we leave, then we will lose that chance.
What do you say to that?
You said we have the right to veto. No, we don't have the right to veto, because if we have the right to veto, then the EU should respect the decision made by the British people. We have decided to leave. You say we have the right to veto. So we have vetoed. We want to move out. Why should there be any problem about this? Now, with all the scaremongering, you said Britain was the sick man of Europe. That was due to domestic problems we had, economic problems we had during the Labour government. But Mrs. Thatcher transformed this country and turned us into the Sierra man, into the Essex man. So the economy started booming. Even when we have the economic problems here in the 70s, we were still doing better than most of these EU countries together. So the whole idea that Britain was going to go down after this Brexit vote is a lie. It's not true. Unelected bureaucrats, when we joined the EU, it was to foster trade among individual member states. But now they want a single currency, which we did not agree to. They want a single foreign policy. They want a single army now. This is not what we agreed to. We are just in the club. If we have decided to leave that club, why should the Europeans be giving us conditions that you cannot move? And this whole idea about divorce settlement, we did not go into a marriage. We did not sign anything that for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, we did not sign anything like that. This is just an economic club that we joined to foster trade among individual member states. So for them to tell us that we have to sign up to this and that, no, this is a club where the British people have decided to leave. They should allow us to leave. They should give up that respect to leave.
basically, you're saying that we have absolutely no obligations. So all the years that we were part of the EU and we joined together on different projects where we were basically benefiting, for example, many of our cities in the UK have actually benefited from EU regeneration. Cardiff, Liverpool, areas of deprivation have been transformed, and that was from the EU budget. We basically, as members of the EU, put money into that pot, and obviously there are outstanding projects. We are responsible. You can't just walk away. I mean, that's completely irresponsible. And some of the stuff, I mean, you've just repeated the whole fact that we have to be, we're compelled to join the euro. We don't have euros in our pockets. I have pounds, and that's because of our veto. We have vetoed these things. And also the situation is we are still within the EU. Most of the forecasts, if you actually look at the government's economic forecast and the impact assessments which have been published, not just for the economy but for the National Health Service, you will see that all forms of Brexit are damage limitation, every single one, with no deal being the most serious. We will be worse off. Currently, we're still in the EU, but interestingly, the day after the referendum, the pound plunged to the lowest level in 30 years, and it's not really recovered yet. So basically, when people who have voted leave find that they are poorer, and I feel really sorry, I feel very sorry for people who then will have less money in their pockets, whose whole areas will be deprived, and interestingly, in these impact assessments, they found that the most deprived areas will suffer the worst from a hard Brexit. So really, if you vote leave, you are not being responsible. You're not thinking of the citizens of this country. You are condemning them to poverty and to a very unhappy future after we leave the EU. Of course it hasn't happened yet because we're still in the EU. Thank you.
I just want to debunk a few of your points there. You said the EU money. We contribute to that EU money. Yeah, we contribute to that bailout. It's our contribution. It's our money. So I mean, and when you say, I mean, they are developing.
We contribute. How much do you know how much we actually contribute out of our whole budget? We contribute a very small amount. So basically, of the say 13 million that we contribute, we get rebates of 5 billion.
And why did we have that rebate? It was because Mrs. Thatcher fought for that rebate. That's why we have that rebate.
We're entitled to it.
And you, I mean, all the economic forecasts you are telling us, what they first told us about the single currency, that if we vote, if we reject the single currency, Britain was going to go down, there was going to be unemployment here, but in fact, we are doing well with our currency. Do you say that, I mean, the establishment made the same prediction again when we were having this Brexit election, right? The Bank of England governor, the Chancellor, all of them said when we vote Brexit, there was going to be unemployment, the economy was going to go down. The pound is still stronger than the euro, the pound is still stronger than the dollar. We are still, I mean, the economic result.
We are struggling. Have you noticed that what's happening on the high streets? Have you noticed that all the shops, all these shops.
Are we struggling than Portugal? Are we struggling than Greece? Are we struggling than Spain, Portugal, Greece, Luxembourg? Are they doing better than us? No. Britain is the fifth largest economy. Britain is the fifth largest economy in the world. And that is because we have got good economic policies here. That is because we have got good trade laws. We've got good industrial relations laws in this country, right? Europe cannot be dictating to us what they want.
I'm sorry, I just think you're talking a load of rubbish. I don't think any of your facts stack up. Basically, a lot of the Brexit, all the Brexit stuff is on fantasy and fabrication. It's all based on lies. All based on lies.
We have got a record number of people being employed in this country, right?
0 hours contract. Basically, the government has fudged the figures.
Are you seriously telling me? Are you seriously telling me that the people in Greece, the people in Spain, the people in Portugal are doing better than us? Are you telling me?
Look at Portugal, if you actually look at Greece, what has Greece and Portugal got to do with it?
France is in turmoil.
This has got nothing.
France is in turmoil. They are fighting there. They are fighting in France. They are fighting there. No, I am not. I am a British citizen. I'm a working class man fighting for Britain, right? We have been misled by this by the establishment, right? The Europeans are sitting in Brussels telling us determine our laws here? Why should they be determine what should happen here? We are a sovereign country, okay? We are a sovereign country. We have the right to determine our self-determination. Excuse me, sir. Right? Right. We have the right to determine our self-determination in this country, okay? Unelected bureaucrats cannot be telling us what to do.
Talk about unelected. What do you want to happen if we leave? Do you want to go to the World Trade Organization terms? Do you want to go to
Parliament gave us
Do you want to go to the World Trade Organization? So basically, tell me when you last voted. When you last voted,
we can do business with the Commonwealth. We can do business with the Commonwealth. We can do business with the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth alone is a rich guy. It's a rich bloc.
One question, one answer.
Negotiation. We can negotiate that.
Calm down a little bit.
We can negotiate with the world. We can negotiate with Canada. We can. China wants to invest here. China wants to invest here.
Okay.
Canada wants to invest
we
here.
have to, our time is up.
Thank you.
What last statement? Wrap it up in 3 sentences.
Basically, we really need to stay for our future, for our prosperity, and for our children, for the next generation. Don't sell out to them.
I think that we should be an independent country. This idea that Britain cannot stand on its own is an insult to the British people who voted to leave. We are an independent country. We can soldier on. We have done it before. We did it during the war. We can soldier on. We can leave. We can do trade with the European partners. They are friends. We can trade with them. The idea that BMW will not be selling BMW cars here, that's wrong. The idea that these are the scam.
Okay.
This is what they're saying.
Okay, that was enough. Thank you very much. That was Mario Krsek for e-clips.tv. I hope you enjoyed the discussion and see you soon.